Look at how fabulous I look. Girls are not sexually attracted to me. There's a major problem with that. And that's a declaration of war. If it's war you want, then war you shall have. Hi, Elliot Rodger here.
Shots fired, shots fired. CPR in progress. Thank you, we got another gunshot victim at 7-11. Shots fired, shots fired. And we have 3 down, we're getting 3 ambulances here.
You know, I never really heard him speak.
He didn't talk.
No parent should have to go through this. No parent.
I'll punish all of you.
We didn't see this coming at all.
To have a kid die, I can't tell you how angry I am.
Some guy ran in our house bleeding everywhere. He said he got run over by a car.
Hey, Elliot Rodger, 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 Elliot Rodger here. Well, this is my last video.
This is 22-year-old YouTuber Elliot Rodger. This video is one of many posted on his YouTube channel grieving over his lack of a love life and girlfriend.
Doing a lot of thinking about how sad and unfair my life has been. All because girls haven't been attracted to me.
His growing anger toward women raised many red flags, but they were all ignored. Nobody knew how disturbing and horrifying his thoughts were until it was too late.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution.
Shots fired, shots fired. CPR in progress. Thank you, we got another gunshot victim at 7-11. Shots fired, shots fired. And we have 3 down, we're getting 3 ambulances
My
here.
son caused so much pain and suffering for so many families.
My kid died. Those parents lost little kids. It's bad enough that I lost my 20-year-old, but I had 20 years with my son. That's all I'll ever have. But those people lost their children at 6 and 7 years old. How do you think they feel?
But to try and understand the case of Elliot Rodgers, we must start from the very beginning.
I wish I could be a kid again. Those were the happy years, and I could just live my life without realizing how cruel the world really is. Life is so much fairer when you're a kid.
But do you know what is not unfair? You're not able to see the full dark and twisted side to this virgin mastermind, from his daily vlogs to hateful speeches. This is why I invite you to join our Patreon, where you can have full access to everything to do with the case. Don't miss this opportunity to see everything. Before moving to America, the Rodgers lived a simple life in London, embarking on trips and holidays all over the world. Elliot remembered his childhood as,
Those were the best times of my life. Life is so much fairer when you're a kid.
and yet even then, there were warning signs of trouble to come. Elliot's dad, Peter, was a director and served as a second director on The Hunger Games. His mother, Elliot Rodger, was of Malaysian descent and had also worked as a nurse in the film industry. Following Elliot's birth, his family moved to Sussex, England, where he enjoyed an affluent and privileged childhood. He attended the prestigious Dorset House School, a private all-boys school in West Sussex. When Elliot turned 5, his family moved to an esteemed, upscale neighborhood in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles. Elliot's parents enrolled him in a private school, where he made his first friend in the States, a young girl in the same class. She was the only friend he would ever have. But before we take a look at his manifesto, we need to figure out how this seemingly normal kid ended up turning into a mass murderer. A few months after Elliot's 7th birthday, he was saddened to hear that his parents would be getting a divorce, even though he hated many people.
You're an asshole.
His love for his family always stayed the same.
I just opened up this package from Amazon, and look what I found in it. George R.R. Martin, A Dance with Dragons. My mom just ordered me the book I've been waiting for so long. The 5th book of A Song of Ice and Fire. And here it is in my hands, hardcover, brand new. Oh, this is so awesome.
However, this would be when Elliot began to show some red flags. Only a year after the divorce, Elliot's father married Sumaya Akabuna, a Moroccan actress. This idea that money alone could attract any woman you wanted would later become dangerous.
Because of my father's acquisition of a new girlfriend, my little mind got the impression that my father was a man that women found attractive, as he was able to find a new girlfriend in such a short period of time from divorcing my mother. I subconsciously held him in higher regard because of this.
This was the moment his mindset completely shifted. He thought that the more attractive you were and the more money you had, the more you fulfilled in life. This idea stuck with him until the day he committed the horrific murders.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution.
Also around this time, Elliot began showing difficulty socializing and sharing with others, and became possessive and jealous if any of his friends played with anyone else.
I always come here to watch the sunset. This is my usual sunset spot, mainly because there's rarely any young couples here that I would get jealous of. And I love this walk right down the parking lot towards the setting sun.
As a student, he was shy and struggled to communicate with people. He would whisper answers if addressed.
As I lined up, I could feel myself shaking. I was scared even to speak in front of a classroom. I didn't understand how everyone else seemed to be fine with it. I envied their bravery.
He also preferred to write information rather than talk, and avoided talking to people at recess. These are all signs of selective mutism.
Yes, I'm a shy, quiet guy, but I have good qualities to myself. I'm a gentleman. I'm sophisticated. I'm polite. I have good values.
As Elliot grew up, he became self-conscious about his looks and height. He was hungry for attention. He thought that if he dyed his hair and dressed in the latest fashion, he could become a popular kid. But to no surprise, he found himself not fitting in and being rejected by them.
I'm not allowed to enjoy life in this world, all because I've been cast out. No one likes me. No one accepts me. All my life I've been struggling to fit in with the popular kids. I've been struggling to get a girlfriend. No one has ever accepted me. It's so sad. I can't enjoy life in this world anymore. Every time I go out, I always have to see these young couples, and I get jealous of them. They remind me of exactly what I'm missing out in life. Sex, love, companionship. I desire those things. I desire girls. I'm sexually attracted to girls. Right now I'm wearing my Hugo Boss shirt. It's one of my favorite button-down shirts. This is a shirt I wore to the premiere of The Hunger Games. I look fabulous. And yeah, I did walk on the red carpet on that premiere. It was quite an experience indeed.
Despite his extreme social awkwardness, Elliot started to socialize with his peers more and attempted to approach girls. He later began experiencing feelings of resentment, convinced that his life was unfair compared to his peers. His increased difficulty in making friends, particularly with what he called the female species, led to a sense of isolation and frustration. And he talks about
an incident that happened that would scar me for life. I was innocently playing with the friends I made, and they were tickling me, something people always did because I was very ticklish. I accidentally bumped into a pretty girl the same age as me, and she got very angry. She cursed at me and pushed me, embarrassing me in front of my friends. I didn't know who this girl was. She was only at Pinecrest for summer camp, but she was very pretty, and she was taller than me. I immediately froze up and went into a state of shock. One of my friends asked me if I was okay, and I didn't answer. I remained very quiet for the rest of the day. I couldn't believe what had happened. Cruel treatment from women is 10 times worse than from men. It made me feel like an insignificant, unworthy little mouse. I felt so small and vulnerable. I couldn't believe that this girl was so horrible to me, and I thought that it was because she viewed me as a loser. That was the first experience of female cruelty I endured, and it traumatized me to no end. It made me even more nervous around girls, and I would be extremely weary and cautious of them from that point on.
Elliot suggested that because of puberty and sexual desires, his childhood happiness came to a halt and craved attention for girls.
You see, ever since I hit puberty, I've wanted girls. I've desired girls. I've been sexually attracted to girls. But they've never shown any attraction back to me. And during that time, I've tried to question why. Why aren't they attracted to me? Even though during the last 2 years I've tried really hard to appear as attractive as possible and to be as attractive as possible.
This was when he started to act out for attention and referred to himself as the shy, invisible kid. These efforts for attention succeeded. Kids in his year teased him, and he would remember one girl in particular who always made fun of him and teased him for his appearance. This was where Elliot's hatred for women started. However, his only goal from here on out was to obtain what he so strongly despised, a girlfriend. But as time passed, this goal became less and less possible. He used this to justify committing the most heinous crime imaginable.
I'll make sure you all pay for it. You've deprived me of love, sex, and affection all my life. And that's a declaration of war. If it's war you want, then war you shall have. I'll punish all of you.
Elliot became more and more depressed throughout his teenage years. As a result, he transferred colleges several times and was violently bullied at each one. He recalled a time when
a group of 4 young thugs drove by me in a pickup truck and proceeded to throw eggs at me, laughing while they did it. They got out of their car and tried to attack me, and they would have beaten me bloody if I didn't pull out my trusty knife.
no one got hurt, but it was clear that he was reaching his breaking point. By age 18, Elliot had ceased his mental health treatment and refused to take his prescribed medications, Xanax and Prozac. He held his parents responsible for his lack of wealth, blaming his mother for not marrying a wealthier man for his benefit, and his father for using his money to produce a failed film that bombed at the box office. Nevertheless, Elliot enrolled at Los Angeles Pierce College, but soon left after seeing too many happy couples, which caused him feelings of anger and jealousy.
I'm so angry right now. I was enjoying a peaceful time at this beach park, and what comes to sit in front of me? A young couple, a guy with his hot girlfriend. I mean, who do they think they are? Coming here, sitting in front of me to make me feel jealous? This is the reason why I hate the world. This is getting too out of hand. I can't go anywhere anymore without seeing these young couples getting jealous and having them remind me of what I'm lacking in life. How can I feel a sense of pride when I go out, knowing that I'll see guys with their girlfriends? I mean, look at them. Who do they think they are?
On June 4th, 2011, Elliot enrolled at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and moved into an apartment in Isla Vista near the university. He studied history and geography, although his focus remained on his anger towards other people.
This world, it's so twisted. It's so cruel. And you girls make it cruel.
He soon began to explore his new surroundings, and he would frequently visit his local mall and Starbucks, where he always witnessed young happy couples holding hands and waiting in line. On one occasion, he recalls,
I ordered my coffee and sat down on one of their chairs to relax. A few moments later, when I looked up from my drink, I saw a young couple standing in line. The two of them were kissing passionately. I was absolutely livid with envious hatred. When they left the store, I followed them to their car and splashed my coffee all over them. The boy yelled at me, and I quickly ran away in fear. I was panicking as I got into my car and drove off.
Elliot felt triumphant after his gruesome acts of unprovoked violence, and this was when he quickly realized he was capable of doing much worse.
Here it is. I'm approaching a street called Del Playa. Yes, that's the main street. So many beautiful girls walking around here. But they would never give me a chance. See, look at that one. I just passed one. They would reject me at every turn. Young couples walking around. It makes me so envious. And look, that's the house I got beat up at when I walked in on a party. That was about almost a year ago now. Back in August of 2013. And look at these douchebags right here. These assholes, these obnoxious little slobs. Those are the kind of guys that girls like, instead of magnificent gentlemen like myself. See, guys like this. Oh wait, no. Not guys like those. Those guys were ugly as fuck, but... You see, look here. A house party. Beautiful girls talking with their frat boys. I hate them all. They think they're better than me. They'll never accept me as one of them. Those girls would never go for me. Here I am, Elliot Rodger. Beautiful, magnificent gentleman. Though the girls around this town don't see it. They hang around with those slobs, those obnoxious, horrible, disgusting men, but they never give me a chance. That's why my life is so unfair. Oh look, even more houses full of obnoxious college students right there. It's just ridiculous. Popular boys, outgoing boys, obnoxious, boisterous, extroverted boys. Those are the boys that girls like. I mean, yes, I'm a shy, quiet guy, but I have good qualities to myself. I'm a gentleman. You know, I'm sophisticated, I'm polite. I have good values. And I can be fun too, if they just give me a chance to open up. But girls never give me a chance because they're evil and cruel like that. Okay, we've reached a quiet spot. This would be a good place to end the video. This world does not make sense.
Elliot seemed to believe that because he had desired girls since puberty and hadn't been desired in return, he was justified in hating them.
They treat me like scum? Well, when I slaughter all of them, they will see that I am in truth the superior one. The true alpha male. I will be a god compared to all men. It will be glorious. I've concluded that females have a very flawed and perverted form of sexual attraction. Like every time I drive around the area of my college, or just walking through my college, I see that all of the beautiful girls go for the big, obnoxious, boisterous, beefy jock types. It's the same in high school.
Elliot believed that his designer clothes and expensive car, which were all bought with his dad's money, would make up for his bleak and flawed personality.
I I do everything I can to appear attractive to you. I dress nice. I'm sophisticated. I'm magnificent. I have a nice car, a BMW. Well, it's nicer than 90% of the people at my college. You know, I'm polite. I'm the ultimate gentleman. And yet, you girls, you never give me a chance. I don't know why. You know, I put a lot of effort into dressing nice. These sunglasses here, they were $300. Giorgio Armani. So I'll put them on. See?
In addition to being misogynistic, Elliot was a racist. He would often make fun of his two Hispanic roommates and hated seeing blonde women with any man, but he was especially disgusted when seeing them with men of a different color.
How could an inferior, ugly black boy be able to get a white girl and not me? He is descended from slaves.
Elliot would spend his $1,000 allowance, which his father gave him, on designer clothes and lottery tickets. He would usually travel over 3 hours.
I spent $400 on tickets when the jackpot hit $290 million. When I failed to win that, I spent $500 on tickets when it reached $363 million, and I still didn't win it on that one. And then the jackpot reached a number that I never imagined it would. $656 million. I was astounded and filled with a feverish enthusiasm of hope and desire. This was the highest lottery jackpot in history. What I saw crushed all of my hope completely. My whole body shivered with horrific agony. I didn't win. 3 people won that jackpot and it was split between them. But none of those 3 people were me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was certain I would be the winner. It was destiny, fate. But no, the world continued to give me no justice or salvation whatsoever.
Elliot believed winning the lottery would solve all of his problems and would help him attract hot blonde girls.
I spent $700 on lottery tickets for this drawing. As I spent this money, I imagined all the amazing sex I would have with a beautiful model girlfriend I would have once I become a man of wealth.
He dropped all of his classes, believing that he would become wealthy by doing no work and winning the lottery.
I still couldn't believe I didn't win. I kept thinking about the heavenly life I would be living if I had won.
Instead of blaming himself, Elliot blamed other people and girls for his lack of a girlfriend and had no empathy for people he deemed less attractive.
Look at this. Groups of hot young sluts who would just reject me. And look at these douchebags right here. These assholes, these obnoxious little slobs. Those are the kind of guys that girls like, instead of magnificent gentlemen like myself. See, guys like this. Oh wait, no. Not guys like those. Those guys were ugly as fuck, but...
His thoughts of superiority and being better looking than others were all traits of undiagnosed narcissistic personality disorder.
They go for things like brute strength and, you know, tough alpha male behavior. And that's just so wrong, because this isn't the Stone Age anymore. Girls should be going for intelligence, sophistication, men who are civilized, men like me. I look fabulous. It's still only 10 p.m., so it's not very active yet. It usually gets active at around 10:30. And look, that's the house I got beat up at when I walked in on a party. That was about almost a year ago now. Back in August of 2013.
A year later, Elliot felt that everything he had to offer the world had been rejected, and everything he desired had been denied. In his mind, the entire female gender must be mentally flawed to treat him with such cruelty and malice.
But girls are not sexually attracted to me. There's a major problem with that. A major problem. That's a problem that I intend to rectify. I, in all my magnificence and power, I will not let this fly. It's an injustice that needs to be dealt with. Well, this is my last video. It all has to come to this. Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity. Against all of you.
Elliot seemed to think that it was up to him to make the world fair and to teach people a lesson for having a better life than him. He called it
Day of Retribution.
In his deluded mind, Elliot thought that the only way he could be happy was if he destroyed everyone.
You girls have never been attracted to me. I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me, but I will punish you all for it. It's an injustice, a crime, because I don't know what you don't see in me. I'm the perfect guy. And yet you throw yourselves at all these obnoxious men, instead of me, the supreme gentleman. I will punish all of you for it.
You could see the contrast between his other videos and when he played an evil villain. You could see his artificial personality and how quickly he could switch up.
Every single girl in the sorority house, I'll take to the streets of Isla Vista and slay every single person I see there. All those popular kids who live such lives of hedonistic pleasure while I've had to rot in loneliness for all these years. They've all looked down upon me every time I tried to go out and join them. They've all treated me like a mouse. Well, now I will be a god compared to you. You will all be animals. You are animals, and I will slaughter you like animals. I'll be a god.
Even though his plans sounded horrifying, his original plans were even worse. But before we take a look at his manifesto, we need to figure out why he had a psychic collapse, and what he said next will terrify you.
I wanted to do horrible things to that couple. I wanted to inflict pain on all young couples. It was around this point in my life that I realized I was capable of doing such things. I would happily do such things. I was capable of killing them, and I wanted to. I wanted to kill them slowly, to strip the skins off their flesh. They deserve it. The males deserve it for taking the females away from me, and the females deserve it for choosing those males instead of me.
He posted the now infamous video, known as the Retribution video, only a week before the massacre on his YouTube channel, but this wasn't his original plan. On April 26th, he planned to murder both his stepmother and half-brother Jazz while his father was out of town. But luckily for them, his father came home earlier than expected.
I assured myself that soon I will have my revenge on all of those young, popular people. Soon. How malevolently satisfying it would be to punish all of the popular kids and young couples for the crime of having a better life than me. I dreamed of how sweet it would be to torture or kill every single young couple I saw.
When his mother hadn't heard from him for several days, she started to get worried. She searched his name online, hoping to find information about his whereabouts. Instead, she discovered his disturbing vlogs. But little did she know, that was only the tip of the iceberg.
You denied me a happy life. And in turn, I will deny all of you life. It's only fair. I hate all of you. Humanity is a disgusting, wretched, depraved species. If I had it in my power, I would stop at nothing to reduce every single one of you to mountains of skulls and rivers of blood.
After watching the horrifying videos, Elliot's mom contacted mental health authorities, who informed the police to conduct a welfare check on his apartment.
Police car.
Elliot thought highly of the police, and upon their arrival, they talked to him and claimed that he was an extremely polite young man and was no threat to himself or others. Little did the cops know, Elliot had just purchased 3 firearms and recorded his last video confessing everything. The plan that came next shocked the whole world to its core with how premeditated and horrific it was. In his most infamous video, he left out the horrific agenda that was supposed to take place one day before the actual attack. This included his horrific idea of kidnapping, tormenting, and killing his victims within his apartment. However, he admitted that in order to do so, he had to eliminate his 2 housemates so he could utilize the space for his diabolical activity. Next, he devised a sinister plan to lure his victims, one by one, under the pretense of something far more deceptive. Elliot chillingly hinted at the horrors awaiting them, stating with little remorse that he would begin his torment with those he found most attractive. His gruesome vision included pouring scalding water over their exposed skin, followed by the agonizing acts of flaying, slicing, and mutilating their flesh. Finally, he described the horrifying act of decapitating their heads. Elliot wanted to disperse the severed body parts across the city's streets while simultaneously executing his bloody rampage.
That I am, in truth, the superior one. The true alpha male. Yes.
Finally came the horrific day that changed the course of many people's lives for the worse. To start off his day of retribution, Elliot attacked and brutally killed 19-year-old George Chen, a good friend of his roommates. Police reports show that his body was found in a fetal position, surrounded by toilet paper and towels in the apartment's bathroom, and was stabbed to death almost 94 times. He then took out his rage on his other 2 roommates, 20-year-old Wei-Han Wang and Chen Hong. He repeatedly stabbed them before leaving their bodies face down on their bedsheets. It was unclear what he did between killing his roommates and the bloody rampage on the streets of Isla Vista. However, the infamous video was uploaded to his YouTube channel, and his manifesto, titled My Twisted World, was sent to his parents and school teachers. His manifesto showed them how he really felt and also laid out his plan. He listed every grievance, every wrong done to him, but especially from women.
Cruel treatment from women is 10 times worse than from men. It made me feel like an insignificant, unworthy little mouse.
At around 9:15 p.m., Elliot made his way to the most popular sorority house in Isla Vista, the Alpha Phi House, where he planned to kill every single person living in the well-known sorority. Fortunately for the residents, entry required a code, one that Elliot didn't have. It was later revealed that he had secretly been stalking the sorority for a considerable amount of time. His exaggerated self-confidence likely made him believe that someone would open the door without hesitation. In his mind, he was an exceptionally attractive and well-dressed young man, so he couldn't fathom why the girls wouldn't allow him in. Thankfully, the residents of the sorority houses got lucky, but some didn't.
Take a look. Surveillance cameras capture the moments that gunshots were fired into the building.
On the day of retribution, I am going to enter the hottest sorority house of UCSB. And I will slaughter every single spoiled, stuck-up, blonde slut I see inside there.
Immediately after the pounding stopped, the residents of the sorority heard gunshots echo throughout the streets.
Shots fired, shots fired. CPR in progress. Okay, we got another gunshot victim at 7-Eleven. Shots fired, shots fired. And we have 3 down, okay? 3 ambulances here.
When they looked out of their windows, they were met with a horrifying sight: 3 young women lying motionless along the sidewalk and in the grass. When police arrived at the scene, they discovered that 19-year-old Veronica Weiss and 22-year-old Katie Cooper had been fatally shot, each as a result of multiple gunshot wounds. The 3rd gunshot victim was heard screaming, "I am dying." However, it was later discovered that she survived the horrific shooting. Next, at around 9:30 p.m., officers responded to multiple gunshots heard. Then they asked a group of teens about the noise, but what they said next shocked them.
Some guy ran in our house bleeding everywhere. He said he got run over by a car.
All those popular kids who live such lives of hedonistic pleasure while I've had to rot in loneliness for all these years. They've all looked down upon me every time I tried to go out and join them. They've all treated me like a mouse. Well, now, I will be a god compared to you. You will all be animals. You are animals, and I will slaughter you like animals. I'll be a god, exacting my retribution on all those who deserve it. And you do deserve it.
After interviewing the college students, police noticed a black BMW parked near the Gila Vista Deli, a local diner. Moments later, they spotted a young man rushing toward the car before speeding off eastbound on Pardell Road. Unbeknownst to the officers at the time, that man was Elliot Rodger, who would soon be identified as the prime suspect in this horrifying murder case. Moments later, the sound of terrified screams echoed from inside the deli, drawing the police toward the shaken bystanders. Inside, they discovered a young man lying on the floor, bleeding heavily from a single gunshot wound to his chest. The victim was later identified as 20-year-old Christopher Martinez, a UCSB student. His tragic death would soon become a pivotal part of the unfolding horror. The killer continued his rampage, driving through the college town while shooting at random bystanders and running people over with his car, leaving multiple victims injured. At one point, he fired at a police officer, prompting the first instance of return fire, which forced him to flee the scene once again.
I was shot at from a Cannibal BMW, westbound from Alamogordo down. CPR in progress. Okay, we got another gunshot. Victim at shots fired, shots fired.
He continued firing at bystanders from his car as several officers returned fire, with one bullet hitting him in the upper left thigh. Wounded, he attempted to flee again, but soon crashed into the back of a black Jeep. His car, now riddled with bullet holes and leaking gasoline, came to a stop. As officers approached, shouting commands, Elliot realized his violent rampage had reached its end. With his version of retribution as complete as it ever would be, he turned the gun on himself, ending his life with a single shot to the head.
I am so godlike.
Following the shooting, police returned to Elliot's apartment, where they made a grim discovery. The bodies of his roommates, Wei Han Wang and Chen Yuan Hong, along with their friend George Chen. The horror deepened as law enforcement searched Elliot's room, uncovering a disturbing collection of evidence. These findings revealed that he had meticulously planned the attack for a long time, showing how calculated his deadly spree actually was. This included a zombie killer fixed blade knife, his personal journal, and a hand-drawn picture depicting a figure being stabbed by multiple knives. The journal appeared to have been ripped apart, with pages missing and scattered. However, the most recent entry, dated May 23, 2014, read,
I had to tear some pages out because I feared my intentions would be discovered. I taped them back together as fast as I could. This is it in 1 hour. I will have my revenge on this cruel world. I hate you all die.
His mattress was slashed and stabbed, possibly a grim rehearsal for what he did to his roommates. Their bodies, wrapped in blood-soaked sheets, lay tangled with the very clothes he had worn during the brutal killings, left on his bed as a display of his horrifying deeds. But most disturbingly, authorities discovered Elliot's computer resting atop his sheets open with the words, "Your video has been uploaded," written across the screen. The video uploaded was titled Elliot Rodger's Retribution and detailed his chilling and unimaginable plan for revenge on the people of Isla Vista. Tragically, these items were discovered far too late, after Elliot had already carried out his heinous act. The town of Isla Vista was forever scarred. Elliot Rodger became a tragic symbol of unchecked hatred, a privileged life destroyed by petty jealousy and insecurity. However, some within the incel community consider him a glorified hero. Love true crime? Get deeper into the mystery with my exclusive newsletter. Behind-the-scenes stories, fresh cases, and all the details you crave, straight to your inbox. Check the link in the description. The autopsy later confirmed that Elliot ended his own life, which some argued was him taking the easy way out, while so many families had to endure the worst kind of pain. Do you think Elliot Rodger was just a man seeking love? Or much worse,